Dear students, welcome to Tungal online classes. In previous class, we have seen how the current varies with voltage when the AC circuit contains a pure resistor. Okay. Now we shall start with the concept of a AC circuit containing the pure inductor. We shall see how the alternating current varies with the alternating voltage when the circuit has just an inductor. Okay. Let me plot the circuit diagram here. Let us consider an inductor connected to the alternating source of voltage. This voltage is given by V is equal to V naught of sin omega t. Okay. Then let L is the inductance of the coil that we are using here. Okay. And we know the EMF induced in this inductor coil is given by E is equal to minus L into di divided by dt according to Faraday and Lenz law here. It is the equation for EMF induced. It is the supply alternating voltage. Okay. As there are no other potential drops in the circuit, we can write the supply voltage V minus of L into di divided by dt is equal to 0. Yes, and the same equation I will write it as V is equal to L into di divided by dt, where di by dt is the rate of change of current here. Yes, and let us write the equation for voltage V. I can write it as V naught of sin omega t is equal to L into di divided by dt. This dt we shall take it on the left side, L also we shall take it to the left side. I can write V naught divided by L sin omega t into dt is equal to di. Okay. If I integrate this equation, I will get the equation for the alternating current. Integrating these equations, I can write it as integration of V naught divided by L sin omega t with respect to time will give me the net current here. I is equal to integration of V naught by L sin omega t into dt. We know V naught is the peak value of voltage, L is inductance of the coil. Those are constants, so I can take them outside. I is equal to V naught divided by L integration of sin omega t into dt. Okay, let us integrate this. I is equal to V naught divided by L integration of sin ax is equal to minus of cos ax divided by e. Omega is constant here, so let us integrate this. So sin integration of sin omega t is minus of cos omega t divided by omega. Yes. So this omega I take it outside, V naught divided by L into omega, minus also I write it outside. I can write this as cos omega t, we can write it as sin of pi by 2 minus of omega t. Cos theta is equal to sin 90 degree minus of theta, that what I have written here. Okay, so this is the equation for I. Then this I we shall write it with sign. I will write it as V naught divided by L into omega. I will write this as minus of sin pi by 2 minus of omega t. Okay. Now we know we can write sin of minus sin theta, we can write it as a sin of minus theta. Okay. Whatever this negative sign outside it is, that I shall take it inside. So I will get this equation as I is equal to this minus sign I will multiply with this theta here. So I can write this as I is equal to V naught divided by L into omega into sin of, multiply minus sign to both these terms here. I get it as omega t minus of pi by 2. Okay. And we shall compare with the general expression of I is equal to I naught sin omega t minus of pi by 2. Yes. So this term is nothing but a peak value of the alternating current. So I can write V naught divided by L omega is equal to what? I naught. Okay. This L omega, it is nothing but the resistance of this inductor circuit. Okay. So the same thing I can write it as V naught divided by this L into omega, I write it as the inductive reactance. It is nothing but the resistance offered by the inductor for the flow of alternating current. So that I write it as V naught divided by XL is equal to I naught. Okay, or I can write I is equal to V naught divided by XL sine of omega t minus pi by 2. This is equal to I naught of sine omega t minus of pi by 2. Okay, this is the expression for the current when we have only inductor in the AC circuit. Okay, let us compare with the equation of voltage here. We have V is equal to V naught of sine omega t, I is equal to I naught of sine omega t minus of pi by 2. Okay, compare these two equations here. Here the current is lagging behind the voltage by angle of pi by 2 radians. Okay, here I have sine of omega t, here I have sine of omega t minus of pi by 2. Voltage is leading the current by pi by 2 or current is lagging the voltage by pi by 2. Okay, that is the meaning of these two equations. Next, we shall represent graphically how the alternating current and alternating voltage vary for an AC circuit which just contains an inductor. Okay, this is the AC circuit containing a pure inductor. We know the equations for alternating voltage given by V is equal to V naught sine omega t and the alternating current I is equal to I naught sine omega t minus of pi by 2. From both these equations, we clearly observe that the alternating current lags the alternating voltage by pi by 2 radians, that is 90 degrees. Okay, let us plot the graphs here. Let me consider along x-axis. First I will plot the phase angle omega t. Okay, along y-axis let us represent both alternating current as well as voltage. So let us start with the phase angle of 0 here. Let me represent the voltage by the sinusoidal curve like this. Yes, this is the maximum value or the peak value of the alternating voltage. Okay, then how to represent the alternating current here? Current has to lag the voltage by pi by 2 radians. Okay, so when omega t is equal to pi by 2, the phase angle for current will be equal to pi by 2 minus of pi by 2, 0. So the current curve starts from here. Okay, so when omega t is equal to pi by 2 for the voltage, for current the phase angle will be 0. Yes, so this is the starting point. So this is pi radians, this is 3 pi by 2, this is 2 pi radians, and the cycle repeats. Okay, so current starts from here. On the back side the current peak value will be somewhere here. Okay, and at this point it will have the maximum value. Yes, and again it reaches 0, it reaches maximum in opposite direction, again it reaches a 0. Yes, this is how the current varies. The equation for current is I is equal to I naught of sine omega t minus of pi by 2. Okay, then for voltage this is the equation V is equal to V naught sine of omega t. Yes, so this is the graphical representation of variation of voltage as well as current. Current equation is I is equal to I naught of sine omega t minus of pi by 2. Okay, then how to represent the same variation using phasor diagrams? Yes, so for that let us consider a vertical axis like this. Yes, phasor is a vector which is used to represent a physical quantity which varies sinusoidally with respect to time. Okay, whatever graphically we have represented here, the same variation can be represented using a vector. Yes, so we shall see how to represent these alternating voltage and current using phasor diagrams. Okay, here let us consider this is the peak value of voltage. Okay, so let me project it on the vertical axis here. So this will give me the tip of the vector. So this O to A can be considered as the voltage vector or voltage phasor. Okay, when the angle is 90 degrees, this is 0 degree here. So at this point omega t is equal to 0. So when angle is pi by 2 radians, the magnitude of this voltage will be maximum, which is equal to V naught. For different values of phase angles, the magnitude will be different. Okay, how to get that we shall see. Okay, so let me consider some random angle of some 45 degrees. Let us say I am taking omega t is equal to pi by 4 radians. Okay, what happens when omega t is equal to pi by 4? We shall find the instantaneous value of voltage when my angle is pi by 4 radians or 45 degrees. Okay, this is where we have to find out the value of instantaneous voltage. For that I can draw one 45 degree line here. Okay, so what I will do, I will draw one line at angle of 45 degrees with respect to x axis or a 0 degree line. Okay, and this phasor, it can be rotated for 360 degrees. When the angle is 0, when the phase angle is 0, this vector, voltage vector will be here. When the angle is 45 degrees, this should be rotated by 45 degree. When the angle is 90 degrees, the phasor will be here. When the angle is pi radians, the phasor will be on this line. Like this, the phasor will be rotating for 360 degrees for one complete cycle of this alternating voltage. Okay, this is another way of representing the variation of voltage. Okay, so what we can do, just rotate this for 90 degrees. So this will cut here, the intersection point comes somewhere here. Okay, so this point I can write it as OB, this point I can write it as B. This vector OB represents the alternating voltage when angle is 45 degrees. And what is, how to get the magnitude of that? So to get the magnitude, this is not actual length of the vector, this is not the magnitude of the voltage. So for that what we have to do, just project the tip, on this vertical axis. Okay, so this is the point of intersection. This height will give me what is the value of instantaneous voltage when the phase angle is 45 degrees. Are you getting it? When the phase angle is 90 degrees, this tip will be exactly here and the value will be maximum, that is equal to V naught. But I am taking the phase angle of pi by 4 radians or 45 degrees. So at angle of 45 degrees, the value of voltage is the projection of this point B on this vertical axis. This height will give me the actual value of the instantaneous voltage at angle of pi by 4 radians. Okay, similarly, how to get the instantaneous value of current at the same angle of pi by 4. Okay, so for that what we have to do, first we shall find out what is the maximum value of current here. Okay, so for that let me consider this is the maximum value of alternating current. Okay, so this point will give me I naught, and on the bottom side I can consider, right, so this is the value of I naught. It depends on the phase angle. Okay, if the phase angle is between 0 to pi radians, I have to consider this phasor. If the angle is between 180 to 360 degree, I have to consider this line. Only direction is different here. Okay, so let me consider this is point C. This point O to C represents the current phasor when the angle is 270 degrees or 3 pi radians. Okay, then why I am taking lower side? Because consider the phase angle here, the current has to lag the voltage by 90 degrees. Okay, so this is the voltage line, so I will draw one line at angle of 90 degrees behind this, below this. Okay, so that will be somewhere here, is it not? So I will get a line at angle of 90 degrees with respect to the voltage line. Okay, so that comes to be somewhere here. And to get the tip of the current phasor, similarly as I did in the voltage here also what I will do, I will just rotate this. I will just rotate this for 90 degrees. Okay, so the intersection of this curve and this line, that is somewhere here. Okay, so this will give me, let me write this as a D point. Okay, so OD is the current phasor, the current vector when the phase angle for voltage is pi by 4. Okay, when I consider these two lines are at phase difference of 90 degrees, because current and voltage are at phase difference of 90 degrees. Okay, so this O to D, it is at 90 degrees with respect to O to B. Okay, and the magnitude of this instantaneous current. So similarly as I did in the voltage, I will project the point D. I will project the point D on this vertical axis, and this height, this depth below the x axis, this will give me the value of instantaneous current. Okay, so this I will consider it as a current phasor, and this line I will consider it as a voltage phasor. Okay, and both are same, both will give me the same meaning. This is graphical representation of alternating voltage and current. This is the phasor diagram representation of alternating voltage and current. For pure inductor circuit, we have written the equation I is equal to what? I is equal to V0 divided by XL sine of omega t minus of pi by 2. Okay, here XL is called inductive reactance. It is called inductive reactance. It is the opposition. If I have the inductor like this, it is the AC source of supply V, L is the inductance. Okay, it is the opposition offered by the inductor for the flow of alternating current through it. Yes, so this XL is given by omega into L. Omega is nothing but 2 pi f into L. Omega is equal to 2 pi f into L. So XL is directly proportional to the frequency of alternating voltage. Okay, if the frequency increases, automatically the inductive reactance, that is the opposition, also increases. When opposition increases, as XL increases, the current flowing through the circuit also decreases. Okay, the variation of XL, the variation of inductive reactance with respect to F, that is given like this. Along x axis, if I plot the frequency of alternating voltage, XL will be plotted along y axis. The variation will be something like this, that is linear variation of inductive reactance with respect to the frequency of alternating voltage. Okay, now this is for the AC circuit. What happens if the inductor is connected to DC? Yes, so let us consider an inductor connected to the DC source of supply. When I consider the DC source of supply, so it does not vary, right? So F, we don't have any frequency of this DC source, so F is equal to 0. When F is equal to 0, XL is also equal to 0. Okay, so there is no opposition offered by the inductor when the DC source of potential difference is supplied. Okay, so the inductor does not oppose flow of current for DC circuit. Okay, but when I consider the AC circuit, it is having some frequency. So when frequency is finite, there is some reactance offered by the inductor. So there is resistance offered by the inductor for the flow of alternating current, but it does not oppose the flow of current when DC source is connected to the inductor. Yes. Next we shall see how the alternating voltage and current vary with respect to time when the pure capacitor is connected in the circuit. Okay, let us represent both the variations graphically as well as using the phasor diagrams. Okay, so for that, let me plot the voltage first, the voltage curve first. Along y-axis, I will represent both current as well as voltage. Along x-axis, let us represent the phase angle. Okay, this is the voltage curve which is varying sinusoidally with respect to time. Yes, this is V is equal to V0 sine omega t. Voltage curve, I will start with the origin so that the phase angle for this is 0 here. So this is omega t is equal to 0. this is omega t is equal to pi by 2, this is pi radians, or this is 3 pi by 2, this is 2 pi radians. Okay, this is the maximum value of voltage, that I call it as V naught. Okay, then how to draw the current curve for this? Observe here, for the phase angle for the current is equal to what? Omega t plus of pi by 2. Okay, so when omega t is equal to 0, the phase angle for current will be equal to what? 0 plus pi by 2. So already when omega t is equal to 0 for voltage, for the current this will be pi by 2. So when phase angle is pi by 2, sin pi by 2 is equal to 1. So I will be equal to I naught. So at this point I will have maximum value of current, that is I naught. Okay, so the curve starts from here. Then next I will have the curve passing through the x axis. So this is how the current curve varies with respect to time. Yes, this is the maximum value of current in positive direction. This is the maximum value of current in negative direction. Okay, so this curve represents I is equal to I naught of sin omega t plus of pi by 2 radians. Okay, this is the graphical representation of voltage and current curves. Similarly, we shall draw the phasor diagram for both these voltage as well as currents. Okay, I will just extend this along x axis. As we know, phasor is a vector which represents the physical quantity that varies with time sinusoidally. Okay, so here let me consider the maximum value of voltage. So that is V naught. Okay, so this I call it as O to A. The line O to A represents the voltage phasor, the voltage vector when the angle is 90 degrees. Okay, the same phasor can be rotated by 360 degree for different values of phase angles. Correct? Then let me consider some random position here. Let me take the angle of pi by 4. Okay, let us consider what are the values of instantaneous voltages as well as current when the phase angle is 45 degree. When the phase angle is 45 degree, so here I will draw one line. Here I will draw one line at angle of 45 degrees. Okay, and the same phasor I will rotate it for 390 degrees here. Yes, so this circular arc cuts the 45 degree line somewhere here. This intersection point will give me tip of the phasor when the angle is pi by 4 radians. As an example, I am taking omega t is equal to pi by 4. This O to B is the voltage vector or the voltage phasor when the phase angle is 45 degrees. Okay, and what is the magnitude of that instantaneous voltage? This length is not the magnitude. So to get the instantaneous voltage, I will just project the tip. I will just project the tip on this vertical axis, and this height will give me the instantaneous voltage when the phase angle is 45 degrees or pi by 4 radians. Okay. Similarly, let us draw the current phasor. Yes. So for current phasor, look at this equation. I have to draw the line omega t plus of pi by 2. Omega t is 45 degrees and pi by 2 is 90 degree. I have to consider the line at angle of a total 135 degrees, or with respect to this voltage line, I will draw one line at angle of 45 degrees. Okay. So this is the line for a current phasor. And how to get the instantaneous value of current? So for that, first project this I naught value on the vertical axis as we did in the case of voltage. Okay. So let me call this as C. This O to C line will give me the phasor for current. The current vector can be represented by O to C. Okay. And this is the position when the angle is 90 degrees, but I am considering the phase angle for voltage is 45 degrees. For that, the phase angle for current will be how much? 45 plus of 90 degrees, that is 135 degrees. So for that, just rotate this vector by 90 degrees. Yes. So wherever this circular arc and this 135 degree line intersect, let us say this is point D. Okay. So this point D will give me the position of this current phasor when the phase angle for current is 135 degrees. Okay. So this line is the current phasor when the phase angle for voltage is 45 degrees, or the phase angle for current is how much? 135 degrees. Okay, we can clearly observe this both current phasor as well as voltage phasor both are at angle of 90 degrees. Okay, so this is the representation of alternating voltage and alternating current graphically as well as using phasor diagrams. For the AC circuit containing pure capacitor, we got the equation of current I is equal to I naught sin omega t minus of pi by 2, where I naught is what? I naught is equal to V divided by XC sin of omega t minus of pi by 2. Here XC we have named it as a capacitive reactance. Yes, it is a capacitive reactance which is given by XC is equal to 1 divided by omega C. Yes, the same thing I can write it as XC is equal to 1 divided by 2 pi f of C. Yes, from this it is clearly observed that the capacitive reactance, which is the resistance offered by the capacitor for the flow of AC through it, that is XC is inversely proportional to F. Yes, the variation of this XC with respect to the frequency is given by along x-axis. If I plot F values, that is frequency of the alternating voltage XC. If I plot it along y-axis, the variation of XC with respect to frequency is something like this. Okay, now since for AC source of voltage frequency is finite, hence there will be some capacitive reactance. Okay, so the capacitive reactance is finite. What happens for DC source? If I have DC source of supply, if the same capacitor is connected to the DC source of potential difference like this, for DC source the frequency is equal to 0. We don't have any frequency here. F is equal to 0. Hence, XC will be infinity because it is inversely proportional to frequency. When frequency is 0, XC approaches infinity. Okay. So for the DC circuit connected to the capacitor, there is no electric current flowing through the capacitor because its resistance, the reactance of the capacitor for DC circuit, that will be infinity. Hence, there is no current flowing through the DC circuit when there is capacitor connected to the DC source of supply. Next, we shall consider an AC circuit which contains a resistance, inductor as well as a capacitor, that we call it as a series LCR circuit. Okay, so for that, let us consider an inductor, yes, a capacitor and a resistor which are connected in series across the alternating voltage V is equal to V naught of sin omega t. Okay, let L is inductance of the inductor, C is capacitance of the capacitor, and R is the resistance of a resistor. Okay, and let the potential drop across the L is equal to VL, the potential drop in the capacitor let it be Vc, and that in the resistor let it be VR. Okay, the net voltage is a vector sum of Vc, VL as well as VR. Okay, and the current flowing through the all these components will be same. Let that be represented by capital I. Okay, but whenever I consider the voltage across this inductor and current voltage across capacitor and voltage across resistance, they will not be same. They will be at different phase differences, different phase angles with respect to current. When I consider the inductor, the current was lagging the voltage by 90 degrees. Okay, if I plot the current here, the voltage will be here. Okay, the current was lagging the voltage by 90 degrees. In case of capacitor, the current was leading the voltage by 90 degrees. So this is a Vc. Okay, but in case of resistor, both current as well as voltage, both were in phase with each other. Okay, that representation I can show it here. Yes, and next for this let us consider the phasor diagram, the phasor representation of these voltages and current we shall consider. Okay, so let me consider along x axis, I will draw the current. Okay, and let the VR is potential drop in resistance here, that is voltage across resistance, so that I write it as VR. As we know, the current and voltage are in phase when I consider the resistor, so both will be along x axis. Okay, then in this case let us assume VL is greater than VC. Okay, sometimes it may be reverse, VL may be less than VC also, that we shall see later. Okay, for derivation purpose we shall consider VL is greater than VC. Okay, and look at this inductor here. The inductor, in the inductor the voltage has to be ahead of current by 90 degrees. So along positive y axis, so with respect to this I will show VL. Okay, let us consider this is the value of VL. Along y axis I am plotting voltages. Okay, similarly when I consider the capacitor here, when I consider the capacitor, the voltage across the capacitor, it has to lag the current by 90 degrees. So that current, that voltage in the capacitor, I will show it along negative y axis. Observe here, the current is along x axis, the voltage across resistor is also along x axis, the voltage across inductor, that is along positive y axis, and the voltage along capacitor, that is along negative x axis. Okay, so this we have done using these relations. Then let us consider this VL and VC, both are the vectors acting in opposite directions. So I can consider the net value of these voltages, that is nothing but VL minus of VC. Since VL is greater than VC, the net voltage because of this VL and VC, these are the vectors acting through a same point and opposite directions. So I can consider the net value of these two voltages is VL minus of VC, that will be somewhere here. Okay, let me represent, this is O, this is A, yes, let this be B, let this be C, and this is a point D. Okay, this O to D is nothing but VL minus of VC. Yes, then now I have two vectors, one is VR, another is VL minus of VC. Okay, the resultant of these two vectors, the resultant of these two voltages can be obtained by the law of parallelogram. I will just extend this, here, and let us construct a rectangle using these two sides. Okay, whatever this corner is there, that is, let us consider this is E, this O to E will give me the resultant of these two vectors. Okay, what is the magnitude of this O to E? So let us consider this is the resultant voltage V. Okay, to find the magnitude of that, first let us consider the voltage across resistor, the voltage across resistor is what? VR is equal to I into R, current into the resistance of that resistor. Similarly, the voltage across inductor, we can write it as VL is equal to I into the reactance of that inductor, that is XL. Okay. Similarly, the voltage across capacitor, VC is equal to what? I into XC. Yes. So these are the values of the voltages across inductor, resistor and capacitor. Okay. Then consider this right angle triangle here, OAE. Okay, considering the right angle triangle OAE. So this OD is equal to OE, is it not? OD is equal to OE. So this I can write it as VL minus of VC. Okay. So using the Pythagoras theorem, I can write, let us consider the angle here, it is phi. Okay. Using Pythagoras theorem, I can write OA square plus of AE square, OA square plus of AE square is equal to what? OE square, that is equal to OE square. Okay, this I can simplify this. I can write this as a VR. OA is nothing but a VR square plus of AE square is equal to what? AE square is equal to VL minus of VC whole square. AE is equal to OD, which is also equal to VL minus of VC whole square. That is equal to OE square. OE, I am writing it as a resultant voltage V, right? So this I can write it as V square is equal to what is VR? VR is nothing but I into R whole square plus of VL minus of VC whole square, that is I into XL minus of I into XC whole square. Yes, so here I can take this I can write it as I square R square plus I can take I square outside, I square into XL minus of XC whole square. Okay, so I square I can take it outside. V square is equal to I square inside bracket R square plus of XL minus XC whole square. Okay, this I can write it as, take the square root, I can write V is equal to I into square root of R square plus XL minus of XC whole square. Okay, so what is this V? V is the resultant voltage. V is the resultant voltage here, and I is the effective current flowing in the series circuit. And this term, compare this equation with Ohm's law, I can write V is equal to I into resistance of this series circuit. Okay, the net effective resistance of this series LCR circuit. So that I write it as I into Z. Okay, so this Z I call it as a impedance of the circuit. Impedance is the effective resistance offered by the series combination of inductor, capacitor and resistor, which are connected across the alternating voltage V. Okay, so this Z is equal to what? Z is equal to V divided by I. This I call it as a impedance of LCR circuit, impedance of LCR circuit. Okay, this is the equation for effective voltage, and Z that is impedance is given by square root of R square plus XL minus XC whole square. Okay, here XL is what? XL is a inductive reactance. XL is a inductive reactance, that is XL is equal to omega into L, that is equal to 2 pi F into L. Okay, and XC is what? XC is a capacitive reactance. And it is given by XC is equal to 1 divided by omega into C, that is equal to 1 divided by 2 pi F into C. Okay, whatever derivation we did, we assumed the VL is greater than VC. Okay, if VC is greater than VL, that time Z will be equal to what? Z will be equal to square root of R square plus XC minus of XL whole square. That is the only difference. Okay, so when XC is greater than XL, I will write inside XC minus of XL. So or I can take the difference of XC and XL. Yes, that time the vector in the downward direction will be greater, the vector in the upward direction will be smaller. Okay, that is the only difference if I have VC greater than VL. Okay, so let us see those different cases. I wrote V is equal to what? I into square root of R square plus XL minus of XC whole square. This is when VL is greater than VC, or XL is greater than XC. In this case, the reactance of inductor is greater than the reactance of capacitor. Okay, so this we call it as a inductor dominant, that is inductance dominant circuit. This is inductor dominance circuit. Okay, this is first case. Second case, if VC is greater than VL or XC is greater than XL, I can write V is equal to what? I into square root of R square plus XC minus of XL whole square. Okay. So, this is a capacitance. This is capacitance dominant circuit. Capacitance of dominant circuit. Okay. Similarly, sometimes it happens such that XL may be equal to XC. What happens? These two opposite vectors cancel each other. So, that time if VL is equal to VC or XL is equal to XC, automatically this term gets vanished. This both are equal to each other. I can write V is equal to what? I into square root of R square plus XL minus XC is nothing but 0. So, I can write V is equal to I into R. So, this will act purely as a resistive circuit. Okay. So, here I do not have any inductance or as well as capacitance. So, it is purely as good as a circuit, an AC circuit which contains a pure resistor. The voltages because of inductor as well as capacitor, they get cancelled each other. So, I will have the equation V is equal to I into R, and I will have R is equal to what? R will be equal to Z. The impedance of the circuit will be just equal to the resistance of the resistor that we have used. Okay. These are different cases we come across for a LCR circuit.